somehow felt that they wouldn't accede to the request. So I wasn't really disappointed, Bob. I really wasn't. Because I didn't initiate it, and I didn't, bet that many chips on it, So when it came up, snake eyes, it didn't bother me. Really didn't.
Al, what's interesting is since I interviewed you the last time, I'm aware that the Green Party, and I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm not a Green Party advocate, but I'm impressed with the strides the Green Party is making.
Yeah, well, I am too, and I tell you, I have been. The problem is, if you go to Western New York State, Bob, and you go Northern New York State, for instance, like most people don't know, but Buffalo is the second largest city in New York State, outside, of course, New York City. And if you go to Schenectady, you go to Syracuse, go to Rochester, I'm naming all the places that I've been. You go to Middletown, go to Utica, you go to Gloversville, you go to Tannersville. The economic depression is horrendous.
Really?
Yes. If you and I went on a trip, I would love to take you, and we would go to the 8, 9, 10, whatever, largest city outside of New York City, and we went downtown, Bob, it would look like a bombed-out area. I'm serious. Industry, light industry, what existed is gone. Small farms are being chewed up, eaten up, and it's a terrible, terrible situation. For instance, in Buffalo, which is the second largest city, I was there 2 weeks ago. 300 people a month are leaving Buffalo because there are no sustainable living wage jobs. I don't know where they're going, but I was there. I was interviewed. I had a interview with the leading, most places I go, the newspaper, the editorial board is willing to give me a hearing, and I sit down with them and I talk with them. And I have to tell you that I have not found extreme reactions to my solutions from, let's say, the status quo, the newspapers that exist in those cities. Like right now, I happen to be, I'm doing what is called a paid gig. I'm here in the...
paid date.
gig, I'm at the gambling casino in Vernon, which is outside of Rome, New York, on the Indian reservation. And I'll be working here tonight. Now, I was in all day into Rome. Rome is, 10 minutes from here. It's a desperate, desperate city. I've been here a number of times. We have friends. My wife has a relative who lives up here. And it's a bad situation.
But Al, what you're talking about here, people have said, well, the Green Party, they're so obsessed with the environment, they're anti-industry. Now, if you're anti-industry, that means you're anti-jobs.
No, I'm not. There's exact opposite. I mean, I'm trying to, look, a Bureau of Census Statistic, Bob, because of the amount of super wealthy people who live in New York State. New York State, of all the 50 states, has the highest per capita income. Yet it is in 48th place. Now remember, Bob, there's only 50 states in job regeneration. And that's horrendous. I mean, if it continues this way, and I'm not saying it started under George Pataki. It was under Cuomo and under you, Carey. I mean, industry is leaving. I mean, if it continues this way, Bob, I mean, a couple of years we'll be behind Bangladesh. No, I mean, I wish you would come with me to these cities and we go downtown.
Al, how do you think you're going to do in the election? You're going to surprise people, get more votes than they think you will?
I personally think that, first of all, I'm not I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not a gypsy, and I don't really engage in that. All I'm doing is talking to people, telling them what I think. They can either agree with me or disagree with me. But I will say this, Bob. We are going to do a lot better than the pundits and all the so-called intellectual experts think. I really do believe that, because I just see the reaction of the man in the street. I mean, that's all I can gauge it by. You know what I mean? I don't have the money to send around people to do polls or anything like that. I'm in the street. I'm at the railroad station. I'm at all kinds of meetings. Saturday, I'll be at a senior center. I go all over the state. I'll be in Syracuse tomorrow. And I gauge by these people, you know, and it's something that I find so pleasurable in meeting people. I'm a people person. I never was. I've lived pretty much not all over the world. I lived in Europe for 4.5 years. I lived in California. I raised my family. I'm not a geography person. You know, I can see a beautiful lake or a mountain, and I don't have to come back 10 times, you know. I like people, and I talk to people.
Al, listen, I tell you, I look forward to talking to you again. Love to have you come in the studio. We'll just
I'd love to.
We'll just schmooze for an hour.
Yes, even after the election.
That's what I'm talking about, after the election, and I thank you very much, Al. I'll be looking forward to reading those results. I know some members of the Liberal Party are worried the Green Party is going to get more votes than they do.
And they may not make the 50,000 and be off the ballot.
That's right.
Scared. They're scared.
That's right. Al, I have to move on. Thanks again.
That's perfect. Bob, again, I want to thank you very much. I wish you the best. It's a little early, but again, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay, and Happy Halloween. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Al Grandpa Lewis. And yes, he's the Green Party candidate for governor. And yes, the Green Party, and I'm not endorsing the Green Party. You know, my politics and the Green Party politics are hardly compatible, but they are going to do well all over the country. How does that grab you? Are we going to take a time out? Are we, Mr. Hayes, the esteemed Michael Hayes, the impresario, wielding the baton? All right, then we'll continue straight ahead on WOR.
With your wealth and power, he will establish his counterfeit kingdom here on earth, receiving his power directly from Satan.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Ghosts and goblins and witches. It's tomorrow morning, 5:30 to 10 o'clock. This is John Gambling. I'm coming as Ken Dolan. We'll catch you tomorrow on Rambling with Gambling.
Radio 710 WOR.
Joe McCarthy, Bob Grant, because he exposed the termites hiding in the woodwork of democracy. And once again, our side has been vindicated. An article in the New York Times Week in Review last 2 weeks ago that new evidence, the decryption of secret Soviet spy cables in this country, titled the Verona Papers, have proven that Joe McCarthy was 100% right when he said that the termites that were hiding in the woodwork of democracy, that the American government at that time in the State Department was crawling with an infestation of communists. And this proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the left has waged a propaganda campaign for 40 years, to vilify this man, to make this man out to be a fool, a liar, a drunkard, someone out who is vicious, who engaged in a so-called witch hunt, when in fact Joe McCarthy knew the truth, and the truth was that the communists were crawling all over the United States government, and they had ingratiated themselves into the very fabric of American society. If everything that the left has been saying is based upon a lie, and that lie is that the left in this country had acted upon its own, when in fact Joe McCarthy was right, and the Verona Papers prove that they were being funded and controlled at the top from Moscow, then how can anything they say have any validity? And it shows you, Bob, the vicious and dangerousness of the popular media and the popular culture. Because Joe McCarthy in movies had been depicted as a drunkard and a fool. This man had been vilified by the media. The term McCarthyism has been thrown around. Yet this man was right, and all along they were wrong. And I would ask you, who has suffered more in this country in 40 years? Those who were branded communists, and rightly so by Joe McCarthy, as history has proven, or those who've been branded racist by the popular culture and the media in this society? if you're called a racist in this society, you can lose everything you have and you will never get it back. And that has been proven time and time again. So Joe McCarthy was right and they were wrong. And it also goes on to say that Ron Rodish, an American scholar, is writing a book about the Spanish Civil War, and that the Spanish Civil War, which is one of the keystones of the left's beliefs in this country, that they're always bringing up, they're always denigrating Generalissimo Franco, the same way they denigrate General Pinochet, because Generalissimo Franco beat the Reds at their own game. He has said that this was not the noble cause, the epic battle for democracy that they said it was, but rather the Spanish Civil War was an excuse and a means by which vicious and hideous Stalinist imperialism was used on the Spanish people during that war. And that is a fact. How many people know that George Orwell wrote 1984 not as an allegory of the future, but it was actually about the purges under Joseph Stalin? And why did he write that? Because George Orwell was a volunteer during the Spanish Civil War and fought on the side of the Republicans. But when he saw the vicious murder and violence that was committed against Republicans of the Popular Front by the communists, he became disillusioned with communism and he denounced communism. How many people know that more people were murdered behind the lines in the Battle of Madrid? The Popular Front were murdered by communists than actually died at the hands of the great phalange of Generalissimo Franco. The communists were enacting the murder. How many people know that the Spanish Civil War was not only a battle between Franco and the communists, but between communists and communists? Because the Trotskyite forces and the forces of Stalin were fighting for control of Spain. Trotsky wanted to win the Spanish Civil War with his forces and thereby set up a competing country as the head of world communism. And finally, how many know that the Spanish government, the Republican government, spent over $250 million in gold bullion was sent to Moscow to pay for shipment of arms to be sent to the Republic? Moscow wasn't involved in this. The communists were never involved in that as some wonderful cause. They were mercenaries over there. So everything that they have been saying is a lie. Every time the left opens their mouth in this country, it's a lie. And history has once again vindicated us. And I say, God bless Joe McCarthy. Thank you.
Vintage Frank, ladies and gentlemen, let's go over now to the WR Traffic Control Center. Here's Russ Evans.
All right, Bob. As we take a look at the roadways, once again in Westchester County, southbound New England Thruway between exit 17 in Larchmont and exit 16. That's in New Rochelle. An accident blocking the left-hand lane, so a bit slow through there. Westbound 287, slow into exit 5 in White Plains. That's a disabled vehicle being cleared to the shoulder. Then on to the New York State Thruway as you travel northbound, approaching, or rather eastbound, approaching the New England Thruway. You do have an accident being cleared away. And on the island, there are delays eastbound on the LIE between the Queens Line and Jericho Turnpike. Farther east, you're slow from Route 110 to Bagatelle Road, and then slows again just past Old Nichols Road. Hudson River crossings, outbound Lincoln still 25, Holland is 20. Into the city, the George is your best bet, the Holland 15. The Lincoln, steer clear of that, it's 25 minutes. Next time you shop, remember the Wonder Soft Delicious Wonder Bread has vitamins, calcium, and iron, but no cholesterol or saturated fats. Families love the taste, so remember the Wonder. That's WOR Traffic.
And now, John Campbell, the Meadowlands all-time leading harness driver.
I love to win. And on this election day, November 3rd, you can make sure New Jersey wins. That's why I'm urging you to vote yes on ballot question number 2. Say yes to fairness for New Jersey horse racing. A yes vote on ballot question number 2 would reform laws to treat the horse racing industry the same as other gaming industries. It would allow the horse racing industry more freedom to make changes in order to be more competitive. That means more jobs and opportunities for New Jerseyans. A yes vote on ballot question number 2 will put the horse racing industry in New Jersey on the same level playing field with New York and Pennsylvania. For fairness, for freedom, and for New Jersey, vote yes on ballot question number 2. And keep horse racing alive in New Jersey. It's a win-win-win for New Jerseyans.
This message brought to you by the Fairness for New Jersey Horse Racing Coalition.
Barry Sanders, NFL star, has what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. Bob, armchair quarterback also has what it takes. Bob loves Pringles, plays the Slam the Stack game, finds a winning NFL fan can.
Yes!
Like Bob, you could win a trip to the Super Bowl, a PlayStation game console with NFL Extreme video game, or millions of free small-sized Pringles cans with more chances to win.
See specially marked Pringles at participating retailers. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents only. Void where prohibited. Some restrictions apply. Game ends 12/31/98.
Pringles, once you pop, the fun won't stop.
This is not going to be a very good month for clogged pores and blackheads. Biore is giving away 20 million free samples of the Biore Pore Perfect strips in your favorite beauty magazines. Maybe you've tried the copycats, the strips that look like Biore but don't deep clean like Biore. Well, here's your chance to see for yourself how Biore Pore Perfect is twice as effective as all those other strips at cleaning your pores. So check your magazines. With 20 million Biore Pore Perfect strips out there, clogged pores have never had it so bad. Biore, clean, honest.
Oldenburg Piano House, America's oldest family-owned and operated piano company, has been in business since 1847, 151 years. At Oldenburg's, you'll find 2 huge buildings, 11 floors filled to overflowing with hundreds and hundreds of famous brand-name pianos. And you can be sure of 2 things at Oldenburg's: tremendous selection and their guaranteed lowest prices. Consoles start at under $2,000, grands under $5,000, about half of what you'd expect to pay for comparable quality pianos elsewhere. There's something else you can expect at Oldenburg's: old-fashioned, courteous service by piano experts. And at Oldenburg's, you also save hundreds of dollars with Oldenburg's exclusive anniversary package. Free delivery, free matching bench, free in-house tuning, and full warranty. Now in Elizabeth, New Jersey, Oldenburg Piano House is easy to reach from anywhere in the tri-state area. Open daily and Sunday. Call toll-free 1-800-526-6979. 1-800-526-6979 for directions.
Thinking of voting for Governor George Pataki? Good idea. Here's how to make it even better. Vote George Pataki for governor on row C, the conservative line. Because your vote for Pataki on the conservative line means more. Take George Pataki's word for it. Quote, "If the Conservative Party had not fought so hard for my election in 1994, Mario Cuomo would still be governor, and we'd still lead the nation in tax hikes, not tax cuts." That's right. Pataki and the Conservative Party have done a lot for taxpayers, but there's more to do. Voting for Pataki on row C, the conservative line, sends a strong message to Sheldon Silver and the New York City liberals to stop blocking change in Albany. Your conservative vote for Pataki demands real reforms, like trimming the income tax 10%, cutting property taxes, and trying violent juvenile criminals as adults. Send the liberals a message. Vote George Pataki for governor on row C, the conservative line. Paid for by the Conservative Campaign Committee. Mike Long, chairman.
Topic number 1 in American offices: networks. Output your work straight from your PC to a digital copier. The big copier makers advertise this, but the reality is that Ricoh has quietly become the #1 maker of digital copiers in the USA. Ricoh's Officio digital line is already on its 9th generation. Those who know demand Ricoh. Call 1-800-63-RICOH. Beyond digital, Ricoh Digital.
All right, let's get back to our telephones. And ladies and gentlemen, it's Cheryl from Spotswood. Hello, Cheryl.
Hello, Bob. Bob, this will probably be the last